Hi, boys and girls, and Vicky's here, and I'm happy you came back to visit with me. This past week, I went on a little vacation, and I got to meet a very pretty young lady, and she has a little boy by the name of Karen Grace, and so we would just like to say hi, Karen, and I hope that I have pronounced his name correctly. And just in case Aunt Vicky didn't, his name is spelled with a K, Y-R-E-N, and his last name is very beautiful. It's Grace. So, I just wanted to mention him and his lovely mother, and I hope that you're watching today. Well, the last time that I was here, Aunt Vicky spoke to you about a holiday story that I was trying to work on and to do for you. And I have not quite finished it, but I am working on it. That doesn't mean that, of course, I don't have a good story for you today, because I hope that you do. And actually, this story kind of leads up to the one that I am presently working on for you. The holiday story will not take place about a religious event, and it will not be an American holiday, but it is one that's going to be of imagination and of nature and the world around us. And I hope that you get outside and discover all kinds of pretty flowers. Look at the beautiful butterflies and all the beautiful things that heaven and nature are there to provide you with and to cause you to have joy and beauty in your life. With that being said, Aunt Vicky is, of course, got her magical hat box, her magical teapot inside the beautiful stories. Now, this story today, boys and girls, is a little different than the ones I have been reading for you. And I ask that you would get your parents' permission to listen to this story, because I know that there are different faiths, different beliefs in this world, and it is not Aunt Vicky's place to teach you, nor to guide you, or to lead you into something that your parents do not wish for you to listen to or to discuss. Okay, we're going to respect our parents, aren't we? Because we love them and they love us. So, with that having been said as well, our poem today, of course, we always call it our clue poem. It's called Heaven's Own. Protected by their love and guided by their light, as each glorious day turns into a precious starry night, they brighten our times of tears and sadness, giving us in exchange joy and spirit of happiness. It is heaven's own angels with swings of silvery, raptured bliss, bringing to each one a honey-sweet, candied, cherished kiss. Protected by their love and guided by their light, as each glorious day turns into a precious starry night. Now, can you guess what the story will have in it today? Who will be visiting Leafy Farm? Well, my boys and girls who listen to me are so smart, I know you know already. This is about angels. And that's why Aunt Vicky has asked that you please get permission from your parents to listen to this story. Because if it is not their wish for you to hear about angels or discuss angels, then let's please respect them, okay? But if they say it's okay, here goes the story, boys and girls. Cuddles and Spuddles, the angels. Cuddles and Spuddles had ventured down the old dirt road on Leafy Farm and was playing out in the edge of the meadow near the east end of Leafy's woods. They enjoyed tumbling about in the soft grass and pretty flowers. The twin kittens had never been to this end of the meadow, nor had they been near the woods, since they had followed the butterflies and gotten lost. As Cuddles and Spuddles played and pounced about in the sunshine, They noticed a small building that was glistening in the dazzling morning light. It was a small building made of cobblestone, and the tin roof was a shiny coppery color. Cuddles and Spuddles decided that they would take a closer look at the curious place. They had no idea this building was even on Leafy Farm. But there it sat at the very edge of the meadow beside the woods. The small building even had a cobblestone fence around it. There was an old wrought iron gate that sounded with a soft noise as it swayed back and forth, going creak, squeak. The kittens slipped quietly past the gate and into a very strange yet peaceful place. They looked all around inside the cobblestone fenced area. There were stones here and there with names and dates on them. The kittens were a bit confused about the writings on the stones. After all, they didn't know how to read. Some of the stones were small, like pillows lying on the ground. Some were tall, and some stood not so very tall at all. But each one was unique and somewhat different from one another. As they looked up at the top of the building's roof, they saw a small tower with a bell, all shiny and silvery, hanging inside it. Cuddles and Spuddles decided they would go inside the building and take a look around. The kittens went up the cobblestone steps, and even the steps themselves were beautiful to look at. Each step was colored and stained to match the 12 stained glass windows that was on each side of the building. Cuddles and Spuddles opened the door very slowly, and it creaked and squeaked a bit like the old iron-rod gate. The kittens grew very excited as they stepped inside the charming and pretty building. There sat pretty long benches centered in the middle of the room. The benches smelled of fresh knotted pine wood, and the scent was very delightful smelling to the little kittens' noses. On each side of the benches, the wooden floors sparkled from the color of the stained glass windows where the sunlight was beaming through upon them. In the very front of the building was another stained glass window in the shape of a large cross, and it was centered in the very middle of the wall. In front of the window sat a beautiful instrument made of brass and lined with strings. It was huge and oddly shaped. Beside it sat a soft, velvety blue chair, and in the chair sat someone Cuddles and Spuddles had never seen before. Their hair was long, flowing, and curly, and they had large, glittering wings. The garment the person wore was made of pure silky white with buttons made of pearls. The soft garment flowed all the way down to their soft leather sandals. Now usually the kittens were afraid of strangers, but for some reason this person did not frighten them at all, not even in the very least. Cuddles and Spuddles walked right up to the stranger who sat on the chair and meowed. "Hi, what's your name?" The person replied, "My name is Tender of Gardens, but you may just call me Tender." "Well," meowed the kittens, "you can just call us Cuddles and Spuddles." Cuddles meowed. "I have never heard a name like yours before." Spuddles meowed. "What does it mean?" Tender of Garden smiled and said, "It means that I take care of the garden of stones outside of this building, and I watch over the people who are asleep and rest beneath the stones." twin kittens thought Tinder was not only interesting to look at, but they also enjoyed listening as he told them about the garden. "You see," said Tinder, "it is my job to watch over those who are sleeping until it is time for them to awaken again. The beautiful stones in the garden have their names written on them. It tells me when each person was born and when each person fell asleep in heavenly slumber." Tinder of Garden was one of the most interesting people the kittens had ever met. Cuddles meowed. "Tinder, Betsy the milk cow told us all about Leafy Farm, but she never told us about you or this building." "Yes," meowed Spuddles, "and Betsy knows everything there is to know about this farm." "I suppose," said Tinder, "animals and people sort of forget about this building and garden at times, and I am sure this place must have just slipped Betsy's mind." Then Tinder asked, "Can you two kittens keep a really, really big secret?" Cuddles and Spuddles meowed in an excited whisper and nodded. "Yes, we can keep all kinds of secrets." "Okay," said Tinder, "then I shall trust you. You see, I live here and I tend the sacred garden and building, for I am a heavenly angel. And though your friend Betsy knows all about Leafy Farm, she has never seen me before." Cuddles and Spuddles meowed. "But why has Betsy never seen you?" Tinder answered with a sad sigh. "It seems as people and animals grow up and they stop believing in angels, and if they should catch even a tiny glimpse of me, they would become very, very frightened." "But we aren't scared of you," meowed the twin kittens, "and we will always believe in you, even when we're all grown up." Tinder then told Cuddles and Spuddles of two more angels who lived on the farm. Their names were Seasons of Adorn and Keeper of Heart. Seasons of Adorn worked and helped tend to the weather for the pastures and fields, as well as the crops and plants that grew on the farm. Keeper of Heart worked to help watch over all the barnyard animals, as well as the people who lived on Leafy Farm. And he always tries to make certain he keeps them safe and lovingly cared for. Tinder smilingly reminded Cuddles and Spuddles they must keep their promise of the secret of angels on Leafy Farm. Then Tinder of Gardens touched some of the strings upon the brass instrument. "Oh," meowed the kittens, "that sounds so pretty." "This is called a harp," said Tinder, "and if you would like to listen, I will play for you and teach you an angel song." Cuddles and Spuddles were so excited, and they curled up on the front bench and listened as the angel played and sang the most beautiful music and song they had ever heard. Soon the twin kittens learned the words of the song, and they began to sing along with Tinder of Gardens. And they sang in a very pretty tune of soft meowing. The kittens were having so much fun that they had not noticed the evening sun setting over the hill. Tinder finally stopped playing his harp and told the kittens the name of the song they sang was Heavenly Happiness. Then he thanked Cuddles and Spuddles for visiting with him, But it was getting late, and he must bid them goodbye, for the day was now over. The kittens hugged Tender, and they told him they would come back and visit him again very, very soon. The twin kittens raced toward the farm cottage, and when they passed the big barn, they meowed softly, knowing Keeper of Heart would be watching over the farm animals as well as everyone else on the Leafy's farm. The warm summery night was perfect for their race home, and as the kittens pounced through the pet door of the farm cottage kitten, they were thankful that season of Adorn had made such a pretty day of sunshine. "Well," said Mrs. Leafy to the twin kittens, "it's about time you two came home, and here's your supper." Mrs. Leafy was so kind, and she had even kept the fish warm, and the sweet milk was chilled just perfect. After eating their supper, Cuddles and Spuddles snuggled down in their soft crepe box bed and listened to Mr. and Mrs. Leafy rocking back and forth in their rocking chairs and talking about the good day they had both enjoyed. Cat the sheepdog lay as always on the thick round rug, swishing his long shaggy tail with a quiet thump. Mrs. Leafy hummed as she sewed a new quilt for the next season that was soon to be here. The kittens knew that season of Adorn was an angel that was sure to adorn and decorate the fields and meadows with beautiful fresh hay and rows of beautiful yellow and brown sunflowers, as well as all the large and orange pumpkins that the family farm could hold. As Cuddles and Spuddles thought of the pumpkins, they also thought of the delicious pumpkin bread pudding that Mrs. Leafy would be making, and they licked their pretty faces with the thought of how good it would taste, and they meowed, mmm. Mrs. Leafy was rocking back and forth, and Mr. Leafy was rocking back and forth, smoking his pipe as he blew a tiny little smoke ring into the air. He told Mrs. Leafy, "I will soon need to cut firewood for the fireplace, because soon the nights on the farm will become chilly again." The kittens thought of the woods and how delightful it was going to be to watch as the Leafy's woods and trees would glisten in the morning of sunlight and dew, sparkling in the prettiest colors of yellows and golden and well browns and purple valance of silvery and harvest-colored leaves. For the angel season of Adorn would soon turn summer on Leafy Farm to a happy season of autumn. That night, as all of the household of the farm cottage slept peacefully in their beds, and the animals slept comfortably in the big barn, the huge moon glowed, and the stars sparkled down from the heavens above, and no doubt an angel watched over them all as they sleepily dreamed of the golden days of autumn returning. It was the angel, Keeper of Heart, who was watching over everyone, and with a most kind and gentle whisper of softness, he blew his breath upon Leafy Farm as he called, a sweet, blessed, nighty night. All boys and girls, Aunt Vicky truly, truly believes in angels, and I believe they are here to protect us, to walk with us, and to lead us and guide us in all ways. I hope that you enjoyed this poem and this story, And it meant a lot to Aunt Vicky's heart, and I hope it means a lot to yours too. And I want to say that if you may have a very precious loved one who lives in the garden of stone or sleeps there now, remember, there are angels out there watching over your loved ones. Aunt Vicky asks that you remember, boys and girls, I try to read to each one of you, and I try to read from my heart and to write stories from my heart. I have a slight speech impairment, so at times you may not quite understand the words. So I ask you not always to listen with the ears, but try to listen as well with the heart, okay? And until next time, boys and girls, much love and much kindness from the Thomas Cottage on the banks of the Tennessee River. Boys and girls, sweet 99 from Aunt Vicky.